but very exciting. That's Houston. KCOH family, welcome to All About Business. Whatever you want to know, whatever you need, you can count on me because I do it naturally. I find the resources for you. And we have another exciting show for you today. We're welcoming Miss Liz Carreno. Most of you here in the Houston area and Texas may know Miss Carreno. She has been a very dynamic resource here in the Houston area, but her knowledge base goes nationally. Ms. Carreno, please introduce yourself.
Thanks for having me on. I'm Lara Carreno, and I think I've crossed paths with Angela. I don't know how many decades now.
Oh, you want to say decades, huh? You want to put it out? You just put it out there, huh, Liz?
Well, listen, I think you and I met when I had black hair, and I've gone into the silver age now. But working in the various business ecosystems, certifying agencies, community colleges. Working in the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program really allowed me to work across different counties and with different businesses in the various industries. So it's a lot of it. I learned a great deal with businesses that were at the idea stage, startup, and those that were ready to write their growth strategies, which is what the Goldman Sachs program was designed to do.
And that's awesome. And the Goldman Sachs program it's a nationwide program, correct, Liz?
It is. It's a national program, and I should just go ahead and put that out there. I actually started with the program when it was brought to Houston back in January of 2011. I started out as mod faculty teaching the leadership, negotiations, operations, and then in 2014 moved into being the outreach director and really developing the relationships with the different organizations and, as I said, certifying agencies, looking for those business owners that would really benefit from this particular program. It's a grant program. It is national, started by the Goldman Sachs Foundation in partnership with community colleges across the nation. And the idea behind that is that how do we help those business owners get to that next stage? With almost 10 years there, I departed that organization last summer. I left last August of 2023. And Houston has been number one or number two in terms of graduates, in terms of applicants. It's just that entrepreneurial spirit that we have here in Texas. I've still been able to, I still maintain many of my relationships with the alumni and with the entities that supported the program.
Thank you. I just wanted the KCOH family to know that no matter where you are, you need to reach out to your local community colleges and find out about the Goldman Sachs program if it's still available in your city. It is a dynamic program to help and grow your business. Once you complete this program, and correct me, Liz, upon completion, you have a growth plan that you can follow, correct?
Correct. The whole point is to be able to write a growth strategy. But I should also, I also want to put in a plug for the SURE program at University of Houston, the SBA program. There's so many. Houston has so many organizations. Check with your community colleges and your four-year colleges. Check with the SBA. I mean, HCC, for those that are in that startup phase, they have the business plan competition. You have a number of financial institutions that now have pitch contests that have anywhere from $2,000 on up. So there's no shortage of resources. It really just takes some planning as to what direction you want to go in and really, stay on track and pursue that. So, Houston is a wealth of riches when it comes to resources for business owners.
That's a great plug-in of why it's so dynamic to be here in Houston. But whatever city you're in, and you take pride in your city and the resources growing your business, please reach out to the community colleges, the SBA. Those programs are connected to the Goldman Sachs, or even just go online, do your research. Isn't that how we do research, Liz? We plug it in, put those keywords in, pop up, and you can find exactly where Goldman Sachs program is in your location.
Yes, they can do that, and like I said, it's a national program. But the luxury that we have now with technology is you're able to find these resources everywhere, and many of them are free. So I encourage all business owners, as I said, to do their program, but they begin that process. It all starts with an idea. Open up that blank sheet of paper or your laptop, computer, and just begin to start that process.
Okay, thank you for that. Now we're getting ready to dive into our conversation and talking about the relevance of your business, understanding your product and service. What is your expertise? And honing in on that as you grow your business and going after opportunities. You have to know exactly what you do best. And don't say, oh, I can do everything. You know how that goes. Because, Jay, you do that a whole lot. Just say, you be out there just saying, okay, what you need? What contract is out there? I could do it. If I could find someone. That's not how it go.
I love the commercials where people say, we specialize in, and then they rattle off 8 different things. I'm like, really? Really?
Well, Liz is going to help us today to talk about the relevance and understanding, having institutional knowledge about growing your business. So, Liz, share some insight on maintaining institutional knowledge.
I think that one of the things that I recognized, not just with the business owners that went through the Goldman Sachs program, but working with other organizations, women's groups, and the conversations that take place, whether I'm on a panel or in the audience, really led to the products and the services that some of these business owners were providing. And when you are listening to the questions that are being asked, you have some business owners that will come in and they will tell you, I know marketing, I don't know accounting. Some of them will tell you, I know how to do sales, I'm not quite sure how to align my operation. And then some business owners, you can just see it on their face, or they'll tell you out loud. And they don't know what they don't know until they hear it. And they said, I didn't know I needed to do that. I didn't know anything about that. And so I equate listening to business owners to also listening to individuals who are also maybe applying for jobs. It all comes down to the questions that are being asked. For example, when I was doing some interviewing for a client, and part of it was project management, and it was for a woman who was coming back into the workforce, after 5 years of being in the corporate world. And I said, well, this requires, some expertise in project management. And she says, well, I don't have that certification. I says, well, tell me how you organize your day. I said, did you do anything for the schools? Well, yes, I did their fundraising. I said, walk me through that. I said, people sometimes don't give themselves enough credit for what they bring with them from their past jobs. So I always tell folks, write out your past jobs, list them out, and then begin to really capture the skill sets, that the areas of responsibility and the skill set that you learned from each one, whether it is project management, whether it is accounting, whether it is doing research on benefits or compensation, and so that you can begin to look at where those gaps exist and what it is that you need to pursue in your business. And so, folks sometimes, they credit themselves at the end, like, okay, I guess I did know more than what I thought. And so that gives them that confidence of, okay, let me move forward and pursue this. But to give themselves, some credit for what they know, just because they don't have that degree. I will tell you, in a class, I will have somebody that got a GED and it's got a $10 million company. I've got somebody who has a PhD, an MD, medical doctors, CPAs, and attorneys that go through the program that aren't at that number yet. So for me, it's not just the degree that you come in, it's that what is your idea, what is your expertise, and the experience that you bring with being able to deliver that product and that service. Because no matter how many certifications you have and how many degrees, it's going to come down to the relevancy and how great your product is or how great your service is and the delivery to its end user.
I have to totally agree with you on that. We talk a lot about certifications that are important in growing your business and networking and building relationships. But Liz, now we're in this time of change. The environment is changing. A lot of the programs that we have depended upon to grow diverse businesses nationwide, those programs are being challenged at this time. Those programs are being challenged. And so being a company that provides quality, have capability and capacity is extremely important. Those certifications are kind of like the icing on the cake. But Jay, what's most important, you need to know your business. You need to provide quality services. And so, Liz, talk about, you mentioned, growing on the knowledge that you have and I would like to say the passion that you have to start a business. But it's always that back end operations that has to be stabilized. And that's what these resources provide.
Absolutely. You and I have talked about, I'm a foodie, so sometimes I equate things to food. And, you've got to start with a really good cake. It better be a great cake. And that's your product and your service. When you get the certifications, okay, that's the frosting. And, people might glimmer and say, oh, my God, that looks so good because that frosting, because you've got all of the various certifications that based on maybe gender or ethnicity, maybe industry, and maybe the colored sprinkles might be the different trainings that you've gone through, whether it's SHORE or SBA or, the Goldman Sachs program. But when you cut into that cake, and let me tell you, the frosting and those sprinkles may have invited someone to cut that cake and invite you in. But when they cut into that cake better taste good, because when you remove the sprinkles and you remove the frosting, at the end of the day, the biggest portion is the cake. So you've got to be able to deliver on that product and that service. It comes down
Correct.
to that. Business is business. And the competition out there is very fierce. And if you're passionate about whatever it is you're creating in manufacturing, project management, landscaping, IT, delivering. People always get concerned when they start their businesses. And they said, what if I start this business and I begin to market it and nobody calls? And I said, you need to think the opposite. I said, you need to think about, are you prepared for the success? Because when that phone starts ringing or you start getting those requests, or appointments via your calendar on your website, you better be prepared to answer. Because if you're a one-man show and all of a sudden you've got 50 people wanting you and you're not prepared for that, then you've already failed, coming out of the gate here. So you need to be prepared to be successful if you believe in your product and your service. Not that nobody's going to call you, but when you get all those calls, are you prepared to answer all of them and deliver on what it is that you've marketed yourself to be?
So, KCOH family, we want to know what your cake tastes like. Is your cake good or is it just full of fluff? Please call in 713-668-1230. Call in and join the conversation. We want to know what is your business? What are you doing out there? What is your idea? And Liz can help you shape that. 713-668-1230. So, Liz, in this, we have an ever-changing, shifting environment. Technology is moving us extremely just too fast. This AI is just really just moving us to the moon very quickly. And business needs to understand how to shift and how to stay relevant and how to stay competitive within their industry and what makes them attractive. So in this ever-shifting environment that we're in, what are some of the ways that they can ensure that their product, their service, their idea is relevant to their industry?
I said that Houston has a wealth of information that's out there that will help you understand, the trends. I always encourage individuals based on their community, and that's one thing about the Goldman Sachs program. It isn't just about one business. We look at that one business in that particular community. The premise behind it, and where you can get information. There's an organization called ICIC.org called Initiative for Competitiveness in Inner Cities. And it was trying to determine why businesses were not able to actually compete, and become part of the larger contracts within the inner cities, and was really identifying those areas. What are the zip codes where the revenues are at or below versus I crossed 45, and those businesses are revenues and above. And the concern with that is that when you've got a community or certain zip codes where businesses are not thriving, then those businesses will leave, and then the community or the residents begin to leave, and then you've got a community that begins to disappear. And we see that happen in a number of our neighborhoods, here in the city. So it's much broader, and ICIC.org provides that kind of data and information of what's happening not only within your own city, but across the nation. I encourage business owners to look at those particular websites. Also, the Greater Houston Partnership. You can go to the Greater Houston Partnership and find what the trends are happening in your particular industry. It will give you the current numbers and the trends that are happening in terms of import and export. It begins to break it down into even smaller levels for business owners that are the subcontractors for the major primes that are coming in for that. If the trend is going to be up in automobiles or logistics, what's happening on our Gulf Coast with, those are the things that we begin to see happening. And how can I diversify? I want to give you one quick example.
Yes.
Houston does Meet the Buyer event every year, right? That's kind of like the close at the end of the year. So you've got all these agencies that are putting out their list of what they're going to be putting out for bid in the coming year, what is needed. And I said, instead of looking, I had one business owner that says, but I don't do this, and I don't do that, and I don't do this. And I said, you've got 10 packages right here in your hand and I said, I want you to highlight what are the top 5 things that businesses, that all of these entities are looking for, that they need to be filled. I said, are you telling me that your business isn't flexible enough to diversify, to be able to fill what the top 5 are, any of these items in the top 5? And they said, I never thought about it that way. And I said, so if you're not flexible to diversify in your business and expand, I said, then, you may have pigeonholed yourself into in the market. So, in different times and challenging times, you've got to be able to diversify and look at things in a different perspective. And so now when I would see this person coming through, Meet the Buyer at the end of each year, that's exactly what they did. They began to highlight what are the top 5 things that all of these different school districts and agencies are asking for that I might be able to expand or diversify my company in and be able to, be the provider for that. So, how hungry are you? How much do you want to be able to get into, and do business, be that entrepreneur? And so that's where that opportunity lies there. But utilize your chambers of commerce. It's their job, especially if it's where you live or where your business is located. Ask them to make the introductions if you're a member. Ask them for the resources. That's what their role is. That's what you pay a membership for.
Liz, I have a question for you.
Okay.
You first, we're going to be going to break in just a moment. But before, you said a website, ICIC.org. How is that spelled?
It's the exact letters. The letter I, the letter C, the letter I, the letter C.org. ICIC.org.
Okay.
It's an initiative for competitiveness in inner city. They come into Houston quite a bit and put on events for business owners through financial institutions. And that's another thing. You've got Wells Fargo, you've got Chase, you've got Wallace Bank. They're all doing, the financial workshops and how to look at your business operation, in a different perspective. So, they're there. You just really need to kind of sit down and figure out what are the gaps in my business that I need to begin to do research and, fill in the holes. And that's where the institutional knowledge comes in. When you start filling out a business plan, that's where you're going to realize the areas where you lack knowledge and can't rely on institutional knowledge. And that's where you begin to look for those subject matter experts.
Okay, we're going to take a break at this moment. But, Liz, when we get back, I want to dive more into what a pitch is, talk about that a little bit more, and what are the components to a good business plan.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to take a break right now. We'll be right back, KCOH family.
Hello, this is Fred Hoyer coming to you for Bayway Lincoln. Bayway Lincoln and Fred Hoyer, a winning tradition for 28 years. You want service, call Fred. You want savings, call Fred. Call Fred Hoyer today at 281-929-6500. That's 281-929-6500. Right now at Bayway Lincoln. Great savings on Lincoln Navigator. Great savings on Lincoln Corsairs. Great savings on Lincoln Knowledge. And great savings on Lincoln Aviator. Bayway Lincoln and Fred Hoyer, winning tradition for 28 years. Remember, call Fred Hoyer today at 281-929-6500. That's 281-929-6500. Good credit, bad credit, divorce, repo. Give me a call right now. Fred Hoyer, Bayway Lincoln, 281-929-6500. Bayway Lincoln and Fred Hoyer, where service is king.
Bayway Lincoln, 45 South at the Fuquay exit. Call Fred Hoyer, 281-929-6500. Bayway, your Houston Lincoln dealer.
This is Gilbert Andrew Garcia of A Tip from Gilbert. Talk, inspiration, and prayer. Call into my show every Monday from 11 to 12, 832-570-8075, and we'll see you next time.
A Tip from Gilbert, Mondays 11 a.m. on 1230 The Source.
Houston, we're back! The 16th annual H-Town Blues Festival, starring Tucka, King George,
Tell her back that thing on never look weight, don't bother me.
Pokey Bear,
To be with my side piece.
Lenny Williams, Wes Love, and J1. Southern Soul Blues at its best. The 16th annual H-Town Blues Festival. Friday, April 5th at the NRG Arena. Tucka, King George,
This train gon' keep on rolling.
Pokey Bear,
They call me Pokey.
Lenny Williams, Wes Love, and J1. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com. It's all part of the 2024 Blues is Alright Tour, presented by Heritage Entertainment. We just different.
Hey, the blues is alright.
Learning about strategies, ensuring that you're relevant within your industry, the resources that are out there and available for you to grow the back end of your business, and how to expand your idea into a business. So in this conversation, we mention business pitches quite often, but I want to make sure that you understand the value of participating in a business pitch and how to take away that fear. Liz, these different organizations, including the Goldman Sachs organizations, some of the community colleges, banking institutes, minority business programs, a lot of these organizations have a business pitch opportunity. And it's an opportunity to infuse money into your business. So tell us a little bit about that, Liz.
You know, nobody can talk about their business better than the owner. And, you know, sometimes that passion, you know, some people are able to articulate it beautifully, and then some folks that aren't able to do that. And I've seen where they've got a really great product, but weren't able to convey it in a particular setting where they were asking for capital. You know, and you've got to be able to really be, you know, succinct when it comes to creating a pitch. It's telling them, here is why I started my business. Here is what my business is. And then what is it that you're asking? Are you asking for capital? Are you marketing or being considered as a particular vendor? And so there's different types of pitch competitions, but really solidify, you know, here's what we do, here's why we do it. And then the third piece would be, are you asking for capital? Are you looking for, you know, the door to open and consideration, you know, to be a vendor in that particular company? And, you know, the practice of it, I will tell you, if you ever have the opportunity to attend right here in Houston, the Rice Business Plan competition. I mean, over the years, that competition has grown tremendously, where they are asking for major investment. And the companies that now participate in that, looking for that next great idea and opportunity, you know, that's really something to observe. So I think that, you know, really between SCORE and SBA and all the resources that are online, you know, there's very specific step-by-steps of writing out what it is that you want to convey. And I always say 3 minutes. To what your actual PowerPoint, what's that saying that I think Dolly Parton said it one time, don't put 10 pounds of sugar in a 5-pound sack. You want to be able to be very, you know, provide clarity throughout your presentation of who your organization is, what it represents, you know, and the essence of it. So it's slapping a bunch of pictures on it isn't going to do that, or putting things in a 5-point font isn't going to do it either. So clarity for those slides, and sometimes there's a restriction of 3 to 5 slides. So again, it goes back to the 3 minutes, 3 to 5 slides, and really practicing what it is that you want people to know about you. You know, I started this program because my child needed this particular type of brace, and none existed. And I wanted to make sure that his life was normal and he could play with the kids. So I began the research and the manufacturing. And this is our product line, which is now trademarked. And I am now looking for an investment of XY dollars to move forward, you know. And so, you know, those stories are very compelling, especially the human interest stories, finding something that the community needs, and you're there to fill it. But again, that's one particular resource, but I love attending them and hearing the new ideas. And so I encourage people, you know, to attend these pitch competitions, you know, not only to hear the information, but to find what really works for them. And I'm going to share one thing. I think it was at a WBEA, and I was sitting as one of the judges, and it was a father and daughter, but the daughter was making the pitch, and it was for wealth management. But she just didn't seem to be comfortable, and I found the PowerPoint to be almost too structured, and her language was not matching what the PowerPoint said. So it said, did your dad make the PowerPoint? And then you're speaking about it. And let me tell you, this young woman had all the certifications to be able to, to walk in and manage anyone's financials, the questions and so forth. And I said, you need to find what works for you. I said, this particular presentation sounds more like your dad, because he was there like cheering her on. And I said, you're a little bit more of this Charles Schwab, which was just like very structured. And I said, and she was like in her mid to late 20s. And I said, you're in a city with all of these ball players, all of these sports institutions. I said, in young entertainment, there's money right there, and you could be taking that next generation. I said, so you need to find that center point of Rihanna's blank better have my money to Charles Schwab. I said, and somewhere in between here, I said, is your setting. I said, so find what works for you that, in your communication style. I said, because trust me, I said, if you can't sell it, people aren't going to buy it. So you've got to be able to find what works for you and how you want to tell that story. And yeah, she did. The next time I saw her, she definitely changed the presentation. She says it works so much better. She goes, I never thought about going after sports teams. She says, and that's who her client base is now. So, like I said, there's a lot of opportunity out there. It's just sometimes you just need those little nudges or a fresh perspective.
Yes.
And I'm quite honest and candid, painfully sometimes. But I see there's so much talent out there. And like I said, sometimes people just don't know where to go. And if I can certainly support them in that respect, then I will certainly do that.
So your business pitch is pretty much like the Shark Tank. Jay, are you ready for the Shark Tank?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's just so some good practice is watching the Shark Tank, because they have to be short and succinct in what their message is. You don't have a lot of time, and knowing your business and having that passion for your business. The business pitches could help to infuse finance into your business for growth and development.
Absolutely.
You have individuals.
Absolutely. I mean, think about it. 3 minutes. 3 minutes, and you could get anywhere from $2,000 to $50,000.
Exactly.
That's something to
Our
practice.
investors, there are a lot of investors out there that are looking for innovative technology and willing to infuse finances into that. And it's all through a pitch. In 3 minutes, you can grow your business from 0 to what, Liz? The 6-figure, from a 2-figure to a 6-figure. Jay, can you do that with your business?
You got it.
I've never been in 2 figures.
Well, hopefully a lot of them are not in the 2 figures at this time. But it is an opportunity, seriously, to look into these resources that are available where business pitches are taking place. And they help to prepare you. Even Liz could help to prepare you. Liz, if someone is interested in reaching out to you, how do they do that?
They can reach me on LinkedIn. I will tell you, most of my business owners find me on LinkedIn, and that's the easiest way to get a hold of me. Liz Lara Carreno, and again, these past 10 years working with all of these different organizations, industry organizations, and entities, and certifying agencies. Sometimes people just, they said, I don't know where to go, or I don't know where to start. And, and I will hear their ideas, and I said, are you familiar with this organization? And they're like, I didn't even know that it existed. And so if that's a place for them to start, so that they can capture their idea, and I always tell them, it starts with an idea. Now you've got to, what's that next step to find out if it's viable? And you're going to find out if it's viable. And you're going to find out how hungry you are and if you can make that cake. Because everything else, will come after. You're going to be the frosting, and, you're going to go out and get the sprinkles. But I think to your point, what you said earlier is you've got to really be good at your business.
Yes.
Agencies and the programs, they can open the doors for you, but you better be good. You better know your business, and you better be able to deliver. Because at the end of the day, that's what the companies are looking for. That's what the companies are looking for.
Is getting the business done correctly at a competitive price with a company that have capability and capacity. So you have to be the subject matter expert in what you do. We're going to take a break right now, and then we will come back. And Liz, we're going to expand a little bit more on the business plan, how all that ties back to being competitive, having a guide, and that leads you into the pitch. So, Jay, we're going to take a light break right now. We'll be right back. KCOH family, we're looking forward to talking to you. 713-668-1230. 713-668-1230. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Bill Russell, Houston's car legend at Bayway Chevrolet. Looking for a car, truck, or SUV? Don't drive all over town and get jacked around. Call Bill Russell at 281-779-8875. For over 30 years, Bill Russell has been the car dealer you can trust. Get the best price, lowest interest rate, and will absolutely get you the most for your trade-in. Call 281-779-8875. Or take the short drive to 5719 Broadway in Pearland. Mercedes, BMW, Porsche, Chevy, Dodge, Honda, Ford. We have every make, model, and brand. We will not be undersold. We will get you the lowest possible payment, in some cases even lower your current payment. Call us again, 281-779-8875 at Bayway Chevrolet in Pearland.
Call Houston's car legend Bill Russell, 281-779-8875 at Bayway Chevrolet in Pearland.
Because I know my HIV status, I can grow my family. The doctors at Avenue 360 Health and Wellness put me on the right medication so I won't pass it to my baby. It all started with a free HIV test. It's easy. Just walk in and schedule an appointment at one of their 6 Houston locations. Know your status and start treatment today. To learn more or get your free HIV test, visit avenue360.org/HIV.
The Hezekiah Walker countdown. You know we got that brand new sound.
Hey family, it's your boy Hezekiah Walker, and I want you to join me this weekend as I count down 20 of the most popular songs in gospel. I'll also be giving you some power music with my power picks of the week and put the spotlight on one of your favorites. So don't miss it, the Hezekiah Walker Countdown.
Don't miss the Hezekiah Walker Countdown, Sundays, 12 noon on 1230 The Source. Harris County District Attorney Kim Ogg reminds you that with gun ownership comes gun responsibility. As responsible gun owners, we must secure our firearms, keep them away from our children and loved ones facing mental health challenges. Criminals prey on unsecured guns and threaten community safety. Community safety is our priority. This message is brought to you by the Harris County District Attorney's Office.
Saturday, we're taking you back with Carrie Lewis on Inside Tracks. Soulful, funky, rhythm and blues, disco, doo-wop, rock and roll, new jack swing, and everything in between. Inside Tracks has all the classics for you, and even those forgotten gems too. So join Carrie Lewis on Inside Tracks every Saturday afternoon, beginning at 2 p.m., only on KCOH 1230 The Source.
Some voices are unmistakable.
You bring me joy when
The moment you hear them,
and
resources of yesterday that still sound good today. It's Anita Baker. And Denise Williams. Versus Whitney Houston. And Natalie Cole. It's an all-girls showdown. Friday afternoon, March 15th at 3 on 1230.
Liz, we're back, and we're talking about now the business plan. The business plan is your guide to what you're going to do in order to be successful. So what are some of those components, and why is it so important, Liz? We want to talk about this. I know with the Goldman Sachs program, they leave out with a growth strategy. But it's a part of your plan. This is your plan, your idea laid out.
The importance of you're right. In the Goldman Sachs, the intent of that is actually write your growth strategy, how you're going to diversify, how you're going to expand, or maybe how you're going to package and sell the business. Because part of a growth strategy is your exit strategy. Is it something that you're creating for a legacy to pass on to your family, or is it something where, when I hit my 20 million mark, I want to sell it. I want to package and sell it. That's the difference between entrepreneurs and business owners. Not every entrepreneur is a business owner, and not every business owner is an entrepreneur.
So, wait a minute. Let's put a pin right there.
There's a difference
let's put a pin.
In that approach.
Let's talk about what is that difference. I'm sorry for interrupting you, but you made a very bold statement there. There's a difference between an entrepreneur and a business owner.
I've got entrepreneurs that will come in that have started maybe. I'm trying to think of the last one that I had in there. That probably started. I think it was about 5 businesses, and when he got them to the $2 million mark, it was really the idea to implement it, launch it, and then sell it. Had no desire to run it, no desire to be the business owner and manage it and lead it. He wanted to create it, and he sold it. You've got business owners that might be legacy business owners. They've been in the flooring business for decades, and it's being passed on. And so now that the father's retiring, the son has to take over and doesn't know how to manage it, or maybe needs to make some changes, to it. You've got business owners that said, I just want to own a business. They might go and become franchise owners because they want to own something but don't necessarily know how to start it. And then there's another organization called TABS. I just want to go ahead and throw that out there. Texas Association of Business Owners, TABB. They meet monthly, and they have a list of businesses that are for sale, or for people that are looking, whether it's franchises or otherwise, that may be looking to buy those businesses in the greater Houston market and outside. So again, it's really understanding. I think that word really became, I'm an entrepreneur. Well, let's see. Let's find out a little bit more if you really are that entrepreneur, because some of those entrepreneurs are going to take that risk, are going to put that money to create or invent or bring that product, to market, and that's as far as they want to go. They don't want to stay, with it and lead it for the next 20 years. That's not the desire. There's a place for both. If you happen to be that individual, that entrepreneur and business owner, and we have a lot of them that went through the program. But it's really understanding what it is that you want to do.
Before we go back into that business plan, we have a caller on the line. Caller, please state your name, your business, and what question do you have for Miss Liz?
Hi, my name is Sterling Overshawn, and I run I don't know, it's kind of complicated to get into, but essentially it's I guess you would say a marketing business. where I have people pay me a subscription fee to have access to a certain list of leads. Yeah, I was calling because I wanted to know two things. One, Liz, do you know of any programs where people can, like, I'm specifically looking for a mentor or someone who can help me, in particular in the marketing space. Like, if I have a business that functions as like an email list, that integrates with various social media platforms. So I'm really looking for someone who has that experience. I'm familiar with SBA, but I'm just curious if you know of anyone offhand who could be a mentor as far as like an email marketing or email list driven business.
Are you doing anything with the National Association, Marketing Associations? Because what you want to do is you've got databases that you're marketing. So whether you've purchased, whether you've purchased them or you.
It's not necessarily a database per se. It's a select list of people. So I have a select list of. I mean, I'll just tell you essentially what it is. It's a business where I have access to a large number of college students, and so essentially, I know that there are certain vendors and people who will want to sell to this list of students. And so I'm looking for someone, I'm really looking for someone who has experience running a email list. That's what I'm really looking for. Right off the bat, I'd have to go in to look at my database. I did a presentation with American Marketing Association last year, and there were a number of people who actually, their niche is either in the sports or health or beauty or marketing, the energy drinks, for example. And so each one of them, that was their niche, and they had their list. Why don't you send me a message at Lara Carreno on LinkedIn, and, so I was gonna ask
I'll see
about
if I can give you a couple of names.
Okay, I was going to ask, could you just say your name? Could you just spell your last name very? Because you said it really fast the first time.
Sure.
And I know I wasn't the only one who was like, what's going on? So what is it?
Can you spell it out, Liz?
Sure. It's Liz, Liz, and then my maiden name is actually Lara, Lara, and followed by Carreno, Carreno. Liz Lara Carreno, or if I was to say it in my accent, Liz Lara Carreno.
Okay,
really fast.
Okay, my last question, and I'm gonna let you guys go. Like I said, this is my first time listening, and I've really enjoyed what I've heard so far.
I'm glad. I hope you continue to come back to It's All About Business with Angela Freeman.
But Liz, this is my last question. Was, do you have any stalwart books that you would suggest to any young business or any young entrepreneur that you would be like, these books are the ones that you should read this if you want to be at the top of your game, so to speak?
I just cleaned out my bookshelves. I had 600 books. I donated 600 books out of my on here. I've read a lot of books, and the one thing that before I recommend a book, I like talking with somebody one-on-one or based on their questions. I would say, here's 2 or 3 books that I would recommend that might take you down that path. And so I would say, I would encourage you to just send me a message. And then like I said, right now in my head, I'm thinking of what names I want to recommend to you, what organizations that might take you down the path that you want to go to. Because I'm glad you also said something about college students and that, because that's your market. That's a great market for a number of products and services, from credit cards to sports drinks to So I've got a couple of names in mind that I can recommend to you. But as far as business books, I would want to know what it is that you feel that you're lacking. I'm going back into institutional knowledge. Where's that gap that you think you need? Is it in operations? Is it in marketing yourself? Or is it better understanding, the industry that you're in? So, those would be my questions before saying, because I could give you 10 books right now, but are they really applicable?
Well, I'm gonna tell you something.
We gotta wrap the show up. Thank you so much for your call. We'll get you two in contact. Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Appreciate you.
Thank you so much for calling in.
And Angela, let me just answer your last question. When it comes to the business plan competition, again, Houston is a wealth of riches. And the SBA has every template that you can think of, from writing your business plan to your legal requirements. It has everything on there, step by step. And so I just encourage you, because like I said, it's all there for you. And that would be my plug to them.
And the great thing about it is that they're not only here in Houston, although we are full of riches, they're in any state that you may be located in. The SBA is a nationwide organization, wealth of information. And for the last caller that just called in, SCORE has their mentors there, and someone that's in marketing may be able to help you. And you want to expand. Liz, you talked about expanding your idea, shifting. So although he's just in email is what he mentioned, hey, social media is hot right now, especially with college students.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Absolutely. I think people need to really, I find that sometimes they don't think big enough. And, Houston, for example, is such a major sports team. We've got a number of international and national teams coming. And when these events come, and it was eye-opening when I worked here in the Super Bowl here in Houston. There weren't enough caterers. There weren't enough security companies. There weren't enough real estate warehouses to throw parties in. There weren't enough event planners.
Especially in the small minority business community. Those are opportunities when those big games come into your town. All those small niche areas are opportunities. New innovation is opportunity during that time as they come into your city. Liz, we're running out of time to talk about that business plan, that guide. So you know what that means. You got to come back.
Well, I hope I've given you some nuggets for the day.
Oh, you did. You inspired a new caller, a new listener to call in, and that's great. I hope you all did receive the information you need to start expanding your business. What's that website again? ICIC.
Correct. ICIC.org. SBA. But again, if you're writing out the list of your business, what are your gaps? And then that will help you, really kind of fine tune the areas that you need to go and do research on. And, so that, like I said, that should help you with that. But we've got them all here in Houston.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Liz. It's been an outstanding show. Great information, sharing with our KCOH family. KCOH family, I hope you enjoyed today. Well, I know you enjoyed today. And although it looks kind of dreary out there, you still going to make the best of the day. Make it do what it do. Ain't that right, Jay?
That is right. It doesn't look dreary.
That's okay.
It looks as it should be.
As it should be.
As it should be, because if I was in charge of the weather, I can be moody. So it's best that we let God do what God does.
Well, you make it do what it do, basically. Okay. Enjoy your Saturday. Thank you for joining It's All About Business with Angela Freeman. And
Entertain and inform. 1230 The Source. 1230 The Source. The Morning Magazine is the show that has Houston talking. Houston talking.
I'm Paris Ely, inviting you to join us on The Morning Magazine from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Monday through Friday, right here on 1230 KCOH. The Morning Magazine, where we choose to keep news stories factual, commentary informative, and conversations productive. As you might guess, it's a work in progress. Tune in and see for yourself. You're invited to join us with your thoughtful analyses and considered opinions as well on topics meant to address community needs and solve our common problems. Join me on The Morning Magazine.
The Morning Magazine with Paris Ely.
It's a beautiful morning.
Weekday mornings, 8 to 11 a.m. on 1230 The Source.
Hello, this is Fred Hoyer coming to you for Bayway Lincoln. Bayway Lincoln and Fred Hoyer, a winning tradition for 28 years. You want service, call Fred. You want savings, call Fred. Call Fred Hoyer today at 281-929-6500. That's 281-929-6500. Right now at Bayway Lincoln. Great savings on Lincoln Navigator. Great savings on Lincoln Corsairs. Great savings on Lincoln Knowledge. And great savings on Lincoln Aviators. Bayway Lincoln and Fred Hoyer, winning tradition for 28 years. Remember, call Fred Hoyer today at 281-929-6500. That's 281-929-6500. Good credit, bad credit, divorce, repo. Give me a call right now. Fred Hoyer, Bayway Lincoln, 281-929-6500. Bayway Lincoln and Fred Hoyer, where service is king.
Bayway Lincoln, 45 South at the Fuquay exit. Call Fred Hoyer, 28.